Hey everybody. Hope everybody's having a good day. I'm out here getting ready. I think nature's happy to see me. You see that? Well, not this. I was gonna show y'all this where it's still down. That's crazy. It could have took the window out if it wanted to, but it was like, nah. I'm gonna fall here. Ooh, I think I should put on shoes today. I keep stepping on prickly stuff. Oh man, this big old rock. But anyways, I'm out here getting ready to cut the grass, right? And then I'm like, I gotta move this table and put it on this side of the yard because I figured the grass doesn't really grow this much as this side. I don't want to have to keep moving it back and forth. So I'm like, I'm just gonna move the table over here. But when I put the table up over here, it was heavy. But I lifted it by myself, put the little thing in there. The umbrella is somewhere. But I did that by myself, and I'm like, I didn't realize my own strength, right? And then it reminded me of a dream I've had of one of my great grandmas last year. And in this dream, there was like two dark black witches or whatever, and it was at our little family cabin. And they was looking like these witches was like looking within our bloodline for something. They found it, and somehow, like beforehand, I had a dream where I met my granddad and my grandma. She took me to this cabin, but I was followed and didn't realize. So they followed me there. They thought like, boom, they found like the core of our magic or just something, and they was finna like try to take out my bloodline, like my ancestors. But the only ancestor that was in the cabin in this dream was my great grandma Beulah. So in this dream, my grandma was a dragon. Like she transforms. Like one time, like she's like human form, and then she's like a dragon. She's a big, beautiful black dragon. Beautiful, right? And so in this dream, I'm like, I can't really like explain it. It's like I wasn't physically in the dream, even though I was dreaming it. It was like I was observing. I was standing back somehow, but I was able to see my whole dream as if like I'm watching somebody else's dream, but it was really mine. So somehow I was outside of myself, inside of my dream, watching this, right? So within me, the lady started doing her little spells or whatever, and she starts throwing these fire orbs, these big boom, boom at the cabin, and everything in me's like shaking. I'm like wobbly leg, like, oh no, you trying to attack my grandma. And so me, I always look at like my ancestors, even though they're my ancestors, I feel like I have to protect them. And like just like in real life, like if somebody would have came at my grandma and said something crazy, I know my grandma could hold her own, but I'm gonna still have my grandma back because that's my grandma. And that's the same attitude that I had in this dream, right? So in the dream, my grandma told me, like, via telepathy, she said, I'm okay, baby. It don't hurt me. Even though it was like the lady was making direct hits, like boom, 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 boom. But my grandma, she was just laying like a dragon, and she just never got up. She was just laying there taking all these hits. And in this dream, I'm crying because I'm thinking, like, why am I being forced to watch you die? Like, no, like, I'm going to help you fight. Like, this ain't how it's supposed to go. And then my grandma, she still sent me like my great grandma, she sent me another telepathic message. And she's all like, and she said, I never show my power until I'm ready to use it. And when she told me that, I got a cold chill. In this dream, cold chills just went through me when she said that. I was like, what the heck does that even mean? So anyways, the two witches that was outside, they like, he. They did what they thought they did. So they was finna run up in a cabin because what they was waiting was just to catch, I guess, one person alone or just the cabin empty to go in there and get whatever they was looking for. And anyways, it turns out to be a family heirloom, but I'm not going to get into all of that because my family in real life be doing some weird shit. But anyways, they was in there trying to get that. And so, but it was being guarded by my ancestors in this cabin. That's why they stayed there for so long. They was waiting for me to come into awareness, come into knowing, and then come to find them. So that blah, 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 blah. But anyways, boom. So these two witches, they go into this cabin and they think they finna take my grandma out. Then my grandma just get up like, dragging wings out and just destroy them. And then I'm just like, wow. And I never seen like that side, like that fighter side to like my great grandma, because only memories I have of her in my waking life is just the memories I had as her as a kid. I remember like as being as young as 3 and 4. She was always with me, and I never knew that she was my grandma at the time until like I was older, like 8, 9, somewhere on there. And I went into the living room downstairs, and my grandma had this big Bible. And in the Bible, it had like everybody's obituaries in there. And I'm looking through it, and I seen her. And I said, Grandma, I said, remember when you took that stuffed Elmo doll from me and you told me quit talking to myself? And look, there's a red cardinal right there as we speak. You see that cardinal? Confirmation. But anyways, I'm like, Grandma, remember that Bible? I said, remember that time you took my Elmo? Because she took my Elmo from me when I was in preschool. You told me quit talking to it. I was talking to demons. I'm like, no, I'm not talking to demons. And my grandma's like, nobody's there. La 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 la, trying to convince me otherwise. So she took the stuffed animal from me because I used to talk to Elmo. And then even when she took Elmo, my great grandma was still there. And so my great grandma would just tell me little things like, my grandma has like an exterior shell, like hardness. She had to like develop and become like this tough person, and it's kind of me because of stuff that she went through in her life, and her relationships and things like that. So my great grandma would tell me as a kid, like, even if my grandma's not like, because she wasn't a hugger, don't touch her. She was not like affectionate, like nothing like that, but she loved us in her own way or whatever. It's just like that understanding. But she used to tell me like, go in there and sit with your grandma. She might yell at you at first. She was like, but she's going to soften up, and she needs this, but like the love or whatever. So she would tell me this as a kid. So when I got older and I would tell my grandma this stuff, then my grandma would look at me like this, because sometimes I'll tell her stuff that I had no business knowing because I wasn't even born then, to know what my grandma went through and stuff like that. And I'll tell her like, she said, la 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 la. So my grandma, she finally did start believing me when I was about 12. Then she really believed like, I can see spirits and see through the other side and things like that. She just, pretty much told me like, keep it to myself. Not everybody will understand me and things like that. But anyways, but seeing my grandma, like I always seen like the nice, sweet, soft side of my great grandma. But to see her as a dragon, and not just any dragon like this, rah, I will mess you up dragon, threw me for a loop. Low-key scared me. I'm like, who the heck is this lady, right? And then it reminds me of a time too, because my ancestors, they just keep telling me to myself, don't show my power until I'm ready to use it. And just for like about a week now or so, they've been telling me, something's finna happen, stand my ground, don't back down because of family, la 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 la. They kind of helped me get out of that idea of seeing my family as family, in a way like to just see them for who they are. Don't make no excuses for them. Like if they're toxic, they're toxic. And just because we share the same blood doesn't make us family. That just make us related. Like they helped me snap out of that, because I would have still got stuck in that same cycle and putting up with toxic stuff and accepting abuse and other things that I didn't have to, because I'm like was still stuck in the Bible, like, oh, honor your mother and your father, or da 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 da, like, still stuck in that Christianity belief set. So I would have still been forgiven and just allowing things, and even though they just kept messing with me, I was always forgiven, and I'll make excuses for them, like, oh, they only did this because of this, or they only did this because of this. And my ancestors snapped me out of that, like, no, you see a person face value, blood or no blood, your family is people who love you, and da 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 da. They put me on from even beyond the graves, but even like whatever. But anyway, so lately they've been telling me like, oh, you're gonna have to stand your ground, stand your ground. So then another memory came back to me today too, when I was younger, about 7, 8, lived with my mom and my dad. My dad was at work at the time, and my mom was home with us kids. So my granny, my dad's mom, she brought over my Aunt Kiva, my cousin Saniqua, their two friends, Romel and Sharina, and they all jumped my mom. And so at this time, I thought my mom couldn't fight, and I'm not even gonna lie. I thought my mom could not fight because I'm like, not me. She was outnumbered, yes, but I'm like, she wasn't doing nothing. She was just letting them hit her, and they just boom, 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 running up on my mama, like da da da. They got her at the top of the stairs, jumping her, and then us kids, we're downstairs screaming because we're just confused. Like, why the hell would my granny? You're supposed to be our grandma, but you're over here trying to fight my mom. Then you bring my aunt and my cousin over here and their friends. So boom, I go into protective mode. I'm looking for something, anything to go up there and just start whacking on them, whatever, hit them, get them off my mama. She was just laying there, just like this, and they all boom, 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 all four of them on top of my mama, right? And then so I was like, you know me as a kid, you know the anger and the rage I had. I let off an awful scream first, like a warrior cry. That's what I call it. Because if you see me scream or cry before it's gonna go down, you better call the police and get out fast, because I'm gone. Like, this person is gone. Somebody else is finna step in and mess you up, right? And that's what I was getting ready to transform into, like, to protect my mom, right? And then so as I'm going up the stairs, my mom, she just was like, Jackie, I got it. She's like, it's okay, baby, it's okay. She said, they're not hurting me. They're like, oh yeah, bah, bah, bah. She said, it's okay, it's okay. And she just like talking just like that, trying to reassure me to go back downstairs, take my siblings in there and go in the room downstairs. And I'm like, I can't walk away, like, and I'm just like, but I'm listening to my mama, because she told me, like, you know, I got this, I'm okay. And then after a while, I guess my mom just got tired of them hitting her or just whatever, and she just set up like fucking Frankenstein, like Lurch. She was laying on the ground like this above the stairs, and she just got up like this, and then like somebody else came out of her, and then my mom just started walking them down, pop, pop. Knock my aunt down, knock my cousin down, boom, boom, boom. She got all four of them now running, and she's just walking like how, like she was on the Kill Bill mission, like Jason type shit. She's just walking slow, robotic, and boom, 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 knocking them down. So at this point, my cousin Saniqua, she was the first person to run down the stairs, scary, and she was like telling my granny, like, let's go, blah, blah, blah. Then you know, I'm seeing people getting thrown down the stairs. It was Sharina, boom, Romeo, boom, and then my Aunt Kiva come tumbling down the stairs, and then my mom's like, so this really what y'all gonna do to me? And then she, like, I had never seen that, but I found out that day, like, my mom, she just don't mess around. Like, she, like, just like me in a way, like, when I got into fights, I don't really know how to explain it. It's like the hits don't even hurt you, because you're just like really like processing it, and it's like you don't feel nothing, and then like you just like waiting, and like this is really what you want to do. And it's like they had ample chances to stop, da 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 da, da and go away. And then, but anyways, my cousin came downstairs. They started stealing our silverware, and I mean just bags. And then I started hitting my cousin, like, quit like taking our stuff. And she was like, Granny told us to. And I'm like, dude, like, we have to live here. You're taking our cups, our plates, silverwares, our CDs, our DVDs. They're just taking everything that they can grab before my mom's like walking down the stairs in slow motion. And then they ran out and da 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 da. And then after that, I didn't trust my granny no more. And besides the shit that she did to me, but to see her like just be on that, and I'm just like, damn. And then I'm just laughing, like, four of y'all jumped my mama. She ain't got no marks on her. And then she walked all four of y'all down and whatever, and she's by herself. Then of course my dad turned up when he found out. He came home from work, found out that my granny did all that. I don't know what all happened after that, but I knew my dad took care of that. But boom. And then, like, I remember that day my mom always told me, like, she told me, she was like, don't ever play fight with nobody. If somebody tell you, like, oh, let's play fight, oh, let's just play, they're not being for real. She was like, that person's just low-key, like, testing your strength, and they want to see if they can take you. And she was like, I know you're strong, I know you can do this and that. She was like, but don't ever show them what you can do. She was like, if you ever do find yourself in a position where you're play fighting, let them win. And I'm just looking like, what? She said, let them win. She was like, let them overpower you and just let them think that and whatever. She said, but don't, like, show them your strength while you're play fighting, because that's why they test you or whatever. And that lesson repeated to me, like, and I like took a vow like a long time ago when I was a kid, just seeing like all this toxic shit growing up. Like I would never date a dude or whatever, like marry a dude, because I felt like all dudes like hit on women just from based on the shit that I've seen. And I've like started calculating little things in my head of stuff that I wouldn't do when I get older. And it's like the more I went trying to avoid it, I still ran into those same things in a different way, in a different person, different place, different time, right? That same problem still found me. Even though I said I wouldn't do this, or this, I still had to deal with this. So I started dating girls, right? And then my first girlfriend, well, not my first, but the one I like was like kind of like really serious about, like, oh, we're gonna do this and do that. She kept trying to like play fight with me, and I'll let her win. Remember what my mama said? My ego be in my head screaming like, get this bitch off you, and I just still be laying there letting her do whatever. And then she just started talking to me crazy and just telling me like I was a punk, I'm this and I'm that. And so I'm just like, dang, now your attitude is changing towards me. Then she started being rude and just like that and the other. And then she'll just do little stuff to try me until like one day I had to literally turn up on her. I had just got this industrial Pierce, and I'm on a game, and like PlayStation 3 was out at the time, GTA 5. Yep, GTA 5 just came out. I'm on a game playing with my friends. This is exciting, an update from San Andreas and Lost, like whatever. So I'm just like, boom, heck yeah, this game's fun. You can play online, you can do la. And so this little sapsucker hit me in my head. It was like, I told you to get off the game. And then like I just blacked out. And then cause all I saw was just blood gushing out my ear. I had just got this pierced. It's like, oh, it's gonna take a year and a half, about 2 years for it to fully heal. La. So yeah, I turned up, and then she like went all like, oh, because she thought I was a punk because I let her win all the times we wrestled. And then there was another position too. I was with some friends, and I didn't know they was gonna call themselves trying to jump me, but they played it off as if play fighting. And then I'm noticing like hits are getting a little harder, then da. Then they just full on went on like, oh yeah, we got it. So then something else came out of me, and then I'm just like, okay, I'm strong, and I know I am. My dad trained me to fight nothing but dudes, and I took a vow to never fight a girl because I knew I was naturally stronger, right? And that's just me. So I'll just let people do this as long as you don't touch me. I don't care, right? And so they try me, and then that's, I'm throwing them like pieces of paper. And then they're like, oh, we're just playing. And then I'm laughing because I know you're not playing, but I'm not on that because I know I can whoop all of y'all together or separately. But I don't want to. So, I don't know. Just all of that for me, finna move this table, brought back these two memories. The dream from my grandma, my great grandma being a dragon, and then with my mom, just seeing her and her ways, and then just me thinking about just the same things I tried to avoid but still had to face eventually. So you can run from your problems, but your problems will run faster. They'll always catch up to you, no matter what timeline you're in. But I'm gonna get ready to mow this grass. Just thinking about just so much. But I hope everybody have a great day. If anybody do want to offer to come and help, I won't turn help away today. But it is what it is. It's gonna be what it's gonna be. Oh man, I'm already itching already from these mosquitoes, and I didn't even start yet. Look at this ant. That ant has a spider, a white spider. I wonder what it's gonna do with that. But have a great day, everybody.